Today on The Boot Guy, we're talking about the ARIAT Powerline H2O, 400 grams of insulate and composition dough. So if you've never seen the ARIAT Powerline before, you really got to take a closer look at this thing to see its value and its uniqueness in the pull-on boot market. Now, first off, it's a pull-on boot with a logger sole. Technically, it's a lineman's boot, and ARIAT has designed this sole in conjunction with Vibram to offer the best traction possible. As you can tell, you get all these right angles, you get all these 30-degree angles. It's an easy, clean-out sole. And yeah, you see the green dot? It's a Vibram with a green dot. That green dot symbolizes that it's going to be a harder compound that's going to last longer. The Powerline H2O is 100% waterproof. ARIAT builds the boot with an impenetrable leather upper. So that means water's not getting in. This is an all-day work boot. This boot was truly engineered for a guy that gets in the truck and heads out there for 12, 15 hours. Sometimes, depending on how long the job is, some of those guys could be out there for 24 straight hours. Well, you're going to need a boot that's comfortable. And ARIAT, well, they were up to the task and they built one for those guys. Now, it's got all kinds of bells and whistles too. I mean, the comp toe is a round, classic comp toe. Since it is a pull-on boot and it is from a Western company, you know, they make all kinds of different toes. But for this boot, they kept it classic. They kept it in the work arena, and they used a really nice oblique style comp toe. And there's a lot of room inside this boot. This is one of those pull-on boots that when you put it on, you're going to be really comfortable in this section because there's space. You're not crammed left or right in the width, and there's room up and down. Now, ARIAT being a Western company, they understand how important a heel cup is to a boot, especially in a pull-on boot. You're going to need that boot to stay on your foot till you're ready to take it off. And that's where they incorporate this little back piece here that allows you to flex this thing out and twist your ankle and just pull the boot right off. Yeah, it's fully welted, so it is resolable. Now, whether or not you're going to be able to find this sole from a secondary party or if ARIAT provides the sole, I'm not 100% on that. But it's always worth a try to see what's available if you fall in love with this boot and you want to have it resoled. Bells and whistles. Check out those boot pulls. Aren't those nice? They are angled. They're not straight up and down. They're not on the back. They're not on the front. They're angled so you can flip that boot on and just slide it right on your foot. Now, the inside of the boot's going to feel really soft and padded, and what you're feeling there is the insulation plus this beautiful abrasion resistant lining that they use. This is a really nice lining. This is something you can slide on and off for a really long time and not have it wear down. Now, it is 400 grams of insulation in a pull-on boot, so this technically is a winter pull-on boot. This is not something you want to run around in the Texas sun or anywhere out west, because this boot is going to be hot. 400 grams, it might not sound like a lot, but this boot plus a nice pair of wool socks and some polypropylene liners, and you could spend a lot of time outdoors in 10, 5, I'm pushing 0, but I'm going to go with 10 degrees or 5 degrees. You'll be fine with wool socks and polypropylene liners in this boot. Now, since it is a winter boot, remember, you're going to have to dry this thing out at the end of the day if you can with a boot dryer or figure out some other sort of system, because it's going to be warm, especially when you have all that stuff on your foot. This boot is going to be exceptionally warm. Now, since it's a comp toe, you're not going to get the transference you're going to get as you would having a chunk of steel up here, which also means you probably shouldn't be working with a chainsaw with this comp toe, especially cutting between your legs, because you want to have steel in situations like that. I don't want to leave out the fact that ARIAT used a really nice shank in this boot. The shank that they use is a little bit wider, it's a little bit longer, so it's actually something that's going to support your foot all day long, because basically you're standing on the shank and that's giving your body support. And when you've got a heel to toe drop like you do with most logger boots, you're going to want to have an extra thick and extra heavy duty shank, especially when you start breaking that 200-pound plus mark. Well, you're putting a lot of pressure on that part of your foot and that part of the boot, so you want something there to give you support. and ARIAT used a really nice shank in that boot. As for an insole, check that baby out. That's the midsole. That is an ATS Pro insole from ARIAT. Quick dry type material on the top, multiple densities of urethane. The front density, this green section here, is kind of like a slip-proof silicone urethane combo thing that when it's in the boot and it starts getting sweaty, it becomes sticky. So your insole isn't sliding back and forth. In the heel here, this is pretty hard. This is actually, when you press on this, you're gonna feel that there's something there. But if you can imagine walking in this boot in a logger pull-on all day long, you're gonna want some sort of energy bounce back, not soft and cushy. You're gonna want something that's resilient, and that's what ARIAT did. That's what they gave you. So that's the ARIAT Powerline H2O 400 grams of insulation with a comp toe and this beautiful logger sole. Hey, if you've ever worn a Powerline, please comment below. Let guys know what you thought about the longevity of a boot, about the fit of the boot, and just how many hours you were able to put into this boot and still be comfortable. Hey, if you want to see some detailed photos of all the nooks and crannies and all the beautiful parts on this boot, swing by TheBootGuy.com. There I'll have a nice little write-up on it, and I will have a detailed slideshow of all the little parts of this boot, plus good shots of the insole so you can understand the two densities. Please don't forget to hit my subscribe button below. It really helps out. And if you should have any questions about purchasing a pair of H2Os or any boots from ARIAT, or just boots in general, shoot me over an email. I'm always willing to answer any questions you got. All right, until the next time, I'm the Boot Guy. Thanks a lot for watching.